Coach William Forcum, Coach David Smith, and Coach Angela Smith. We're very happy to be here with you for another episode of Real Talk at the Round Table. So, Angela Smith, you are a fellow RPC, Ramsey Preferred Coach, and you specialize in lighting the pathway for others. Come on in here, talk a little bit about that, what your niche is, who your niche is, and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Angela Smith. No relation to David Smith here. And I have been, like you said, a RPC coach now for just over a year. And I really got started because I thought everyone was into budgeting and watching their money, and I learned that that wasn't the case. And it was kind of a light that was shed on me that, oh, you have something that you could be sharing with everyone around you. And that was something that was just put on my heart, that you need to do this. And as I've evolved over the last year, I've found that the people that are nearest and dearest to my heart that I want to serve are those that are going at life alone right now. They don't have a significant other or a spouse to be bouncing their ideas off of, and to have that solid soundboard for financial decision making.
Yeah. So it sounds like you are really zoned in to the single moms, the single dads, those singles out there that are struggling. Maybe they're needing some accountability. What am I talking about? Maybe, of course, they're needing accountability, some encouragement, a proven pathway forward that has helped tens of millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it's crazy to me whenever I think about, when I hear these stories and I'm like, oh my goodness, if you just had this proven framework and the chance to implement it, 99% of these problems would not be even relevant right now. So very happy to hear that you're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my favorite stories of helping someone is they came to me and they're like, I need help. And we got started working, and she told me point blank, she's like, I can't do a budget. Okay, fine. You don't have to do a budget. We can work on all these other things. And about 3 months into serving her, she's comes to me. She's like, I'm going to be a pro at budgeting. And I said, why? What made you change your mind? And she was like, well, I realized that this is what I need to do to really have a firm grasp of my finances, and so that I know what's going on, so that I can be the best that I can be for my family. And I was like, you got there. And it was just a very rewarding moment that has now carried her for the last few months as she's continued doing her budget, because once you get your mind right, the pieces start falling into place.
So you met, amen, by the way, you met with this lady for the first time, and she said, I can't do a budget. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then you weren't like you respected that firm boundary, even being a financial coach,
Yeah.
we do. We must respect that firm boundary. And a lot of financial coaching has nothing to do with the budget, though that may sound really crazy.
Well, a lot of people get stuck in a budget. You don't need a budget. You do need a plan for your money. Whether you call it a cash flow plan, a financial plan, a budget, whatever you want to call it, to make yourself happy. Every business has one.
Mm-hmm.
They have to give it to the people that they have to answer to. So you need one.
Yeah.
Who cares what you call it?
Right.
You know, a budget is what it is, but if you don't like budget, cash flow plan.
Yeah, so I like that, David. I do. I really like that because it does seem like the B word just totally turns people off. But cash flow plan, that's better. And then Angela, I really like how you respected that boundary, and then she came in her own time 3 months later, said, "Hey, you know what? I'm not even going to do I'm not only going to do a budget. I'm going to be the queen at budgeting." Talk a little bit about that. Like, what were some of those maneuvers inside the coaching sessions that you pulled to encourage her that way?
Yeah, so encouraging is the right word. Sometimes I feel like women especially, way back when they're a kid, someone tells them one time, "Oh, you're not good with money." And we have a tendency to take things that people say to us sometimes, and we just take that to heart forever. And, oh, I learned that I wasn't good with money when I was 10 years old. And now that I'm significantly older, I still carry that with me of, I'm not good with money. And to finally let go and be like, actually, I am good with money. And this is a really light bulb moment for some people when they're like, oh, just because someone said that about me does not make it true. I have just lived up to that for so long. And just getting them to try something again that maybe they thought they were bad at it. And how many times does it take sometimes to be successful with something? You can't just try it once and expect it to be great. You have to keep trying, and budgeting is the same way. Your plan for your money is the same way. You're not going to get it right away. You're going to have to make adjustments, and it's not perfect. But at the end of the day, if you're able to do a little bit of planning, if you're able to purchase the things that you want to purchase for the reasons that are a good reason to make the purchase, that's kind of what the goal is, that you're living your best life and you don't have to be stressed out about paying bills at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's key that you said. We don't get it right off the bat. Matter of fact, it's been said that it takes 3 to 6 months to get it down. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, oh shoot, I forgot that bill. No problem. Add it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And going along with that, David, Angela, you said something that really intrigued me. Every time I hear it brought up, I just have to add to it or validate it at the very least. All these names, that we are called by our friends, sometimes our family, a lot of times our enemies, even like ourselves and our subconscious, is like the world, the flesh, the devil, like all of these names are like consistently attacking our identity. And when we come into agreement with those names, we're settling and we're like believing for those names. It's really devastating. It's devastating when we do that. Like, we should never do that. We should never settle for anything that's less than who God calls us. What are some of those, David?
Well, you are worthy, first of all. You're enough. You're strong.
Yeah.
Angela, I'm sure you've got a couple good names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Put me on the spot, David.
We lost audio.
But I truly believe that you can be who you want to be, and you can be who you need to be.
Looks like we're having some audio issues on Angela Smith, your side. Well, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? What about now?
Did it turn off?
Yeah, it was still recording.
Okay. Cool. So it looks like we are fixing it. We found the problem and we're fixing it.
I think it's fixed.
Okay.
Not fixing, but fixed.
I like it. So what are some of those names, Angela? Those good names?
Yeah, so, we work through adversity because you're strong.
Yep. Yeah.
Into perspective can be really helpful too.
Yeah. Yeah, the power of it's almost like compound interest. Community, good or bad, like bad community or good community, it's powerful either way. One's for the good, one's for the bad. Um, so yeah, like who we are allowing to sharpen or dull us matters. It matters so much. Very thankful that you brought that up. Are you still able to hear us well? Yes. Okay, good.
Yes, I can hear you guys great.
Really cool. Really cool. That's good news. Yeah, so identity. It's something that I've been studying for quite some time now. It's like, who am I? Like, who am I really? Because, like, I need to know. Because if I don't know, I'm not going to be operating correctly. I'm going to be operating. It's like the story of the boy king. He was 14 years old, and he was told that he was going to be king. He was the youngest of how many, David?
Many.
I mean, it was a lot. And the prophet at the time, he came and he's like, God told me to come and select a king from your house. Jesse lined all his boys up. I think that was his name, the dad's name. He lined all of his boys up there. And, from oldest to youngest. And Samuel's looking, he's like, none of these. And the dad's like, that's all my boy. Well, I've got one out here tending sheep. You don't want him though. So he does. He sends for him, and he comes, and like he's writing poetry and tackling bears and singing songs, and he's like, it's not him, but it is. It's him. And at 14 years old, all of these like elders, they're trying to put this heavy armor on him, trying to give him great swords, like all of this stuff. He's 14. He's like not even 100 pounds probably, soaking wet. He can't wield a great sword. He's like, no. Maybe that was a little disrespectful. Just a thought. But he's not going to fight outside of his true identity. He's like, I need this slingshot and these stones. And then he goes and slays the Philistine leader.
Well, you got to remember one thing. He killed the lion, he killed the bear, he killed many wild animals as he was tending to the sheep. So he was well capable of knocking out Goliath. But he had to do it his way.
Mm-hmm.
Because Goliath was nothing compared to what he had killed in the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good word. And then he goes and uses Goliath's own sword to decapitate him. Probably my favorite part of the whole thing. Anyway, so yeah, it's like God is speaking to us inside of our own true identities. He's not going to speak to us in like somebody else's identity. He's going to speak to us in ours because that's how He made us. And I think it's important for us as coaches to remember that about our clients. We must ask these questions, figure out who we're talking to effectively coach them and guide them as their coach.
So let me ask you, Angela, what's a good way that you find out who your client is?
I ask questions, of course. I very much try to have the open-ended questions so that the conversation flows. I'm just trying to be very much a good listener to hear what they're not saying as well as what they are saying.
There's a lot more of that, isn't there?
Yeah.
So my question for you is, do you have any examples for us?
I mean, I will expound on the fact that, if money was easy and it was just as simple as math, we wouldn't need to be here. But there's so much emotion tied up with our financial decisions, whether it's good or bad, that kind of unpacking the emotional reasons behind our spending is something it's hard, and it's not just with coaching, but it feels like just something that I don't.
We've got a ton of we've got a ton of value coming, your way. So it's worth the wait. It is. It's worth the wait. Um, true identity. True identity. Sometimes it's a hard thing to know your true identity, or maybe it's to find out. I think we have to be intrigued with wonder to find out our true identity. We've got to be intrigued with wonder so much to go off onto an adventure. And say, okay, I'm going to try to find out who I am, who God calls me, right? Oh, there we go. I believe we got you back.